is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
All right, good morning.
You're going to do Let It Be, right? Aren't you going to do Let It Be?
All right, come on. Let's get with it.
I'll give you some oohs and ahs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Besides you.
So, welcome.
Oh, sign, seal, deliver. Where's Kitty?
We're here at the Center for Spiritual Living here in Granada Hills, and where we honor all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. And we have a little tradition that we do here called hugs and handshakes. So if you will just take a moment to check in with each other and say good morning.
Like a fool, I went and stayed too long. Now I'm wondering if your love's still strong. Oh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Yeah, that day I went and said goodbye. Now I'm back and not ashamed to cry. Oh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Yeah. Baby, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Oh, yes, I am, baby. Oh, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Yes, I am. Seen a lot of things in this old world. When I touched them, they did nothing. Oh, oh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Yeah. And we're only desire. Oh, now you set my soul on fire. Oh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours.
Nice job there. So, as we batten up the hatches in the back there, please help me welcome Reverend Kathy Lyons to the platform, our presider this morning, and our animal kinship facilitator. All right, so let's all take a deep, conscious breath. Just allow ourselves to relax and surrender into this eternal now moment here in the sanctuary, and for those online, as we come together for our call to service, which we call Lighting the Flames of Faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Kathy lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the four noble truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center. And as Reverend Kathy lights a healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Join me, please, as I speak my word in the first person for each one here, as I recognize that there is only love, that there is one power, and that is God, and that is the power of love. And I know that love is in my mind, body, and all my affairs, that God's love and presence is in every facet of my life, in my relationships, my career, my health, my finances. I know right now, as I make this declaration, that this morning is a perfect idea in the mind of God, that we all experience God's love from every part of this service, from Reverend Mike's dynamic talk, through the music, through the ushers, greeters, and sound, and everyone here. I am just feeling that love of God within me, and because I know that God's love is everywhere present, because God is all that there is that loving presence of God in every part of my life, be it relationships, health, finances, career. I just feel that love of God within me. And so I do give thanks. I give thanks for this glorious day and the love that I experience right now. And I give thanks for Reverend Mike and the musicians and the sound and ushers and greeters and everyone helping and to make this service possible, as well as everyone here. So with gratitude, I release my word into the law of mind, knowing it is done, knowing it is so, and together we say, and so it is. Good morning, everyone. Today I'd like to talk about the class that Reverend Mike's been teaching the past several weeks, The Hero's Journey in Faith and Prosperity. Now, in the Hero's Journey, this last class, we talked about forgiveness, and we did some exercises. And it's really important to forgive and release the past. Ernest Holmes says in the textbook on page 431, "We cannot afford to hold personal animosities against the world or individual members of society. Forgiveness isn't about condoning what somebody's done or hanging out with them, but it's a way of cleansing ourselves of old hurts and resentments." As Ernest Holmes says, if one labors under the great burden of past mistakes, he devitalizes his body. And if the condemnation is enough, it might render him incapable of moving. And that was his interpretation of the saying that Jesus said in the Bible, get up and walk. So, when we have old resentments, it really does block us from experiencing new good in our life. So, what I learned too from this exercise that I did in the Hero's Journey class, that when I'm holding old resentments, a lot of times it's because it's more about forgiving myself. It's about, a lot of times I feel bad about how I handled a situation, more about the other person. So what I've learned is there's something called preventative forgiveness, where if I have a conflict with somebody, or if I'm feeling hurt or angry, that I'll go ahead and resolve that conflict at the time. I can't change the past, but I can live in the present to resolve any conflicts I might have about something. And we have to live in the present to release all those old resentments, to truly enjoy life. If I'm thinking about the past, I'm not going to enjoy the present moment. Wayne Dyer one time said the two things that can get in the way is like guilt, thinking about the past, or worrying what's going to happen in the future. No. Forgiveness is really living in the present, enjoying the present moment. And a lot of times then it welcomes new things in our life. One of the most powerful affirmations I learned from Catherine Ponder was, God within me frees me from resentment and attachment to and from people, places, and things of the past and present. I now demonstrate my true place, my true people, and prosperity now. Bless you, and so it is.
Good morning, everybody. Please welcome on background vocals Terry and Kitty Holiday. On keyboards today, direct from Belgium, Jason Goldstein. On bass, Mr. Kent Moore. On keyboard and saxophone, David Olivas. Playing the shaker, she doesn't want me to say, is Erica. And please welcome the one and only direct from Santa Clarita, Brother Jared. Yay! 1, 2, 3, 4.
Say you want to get over what you're gonna do. Watch the world go by in a corner all alone. I know it's none of my business, but something I gotta say. If you could see you the way I see you, you'd start flying on your own. Step aside and let your light shine, let your love show. It's a short ride on a long road. When the rains come and the winds blow, let your light shine wherever you go. This world is ready and waiting for you to come on through. It's time to recognize, realize that you are the only one of you. Step on up, step into your greatness. Don't you be afraid. There's a place and time you can rise up. No one else can do what you do. Get out the way and let your light shine. Let your love show. It's It's a short ride down a long road. When the rains come and the winds blow, let your light shine wherever you go. Short ride down the wrong road. When the rain comes and the winds blow, let your light shine wherever you go. Light shine, let your love show. It's a short ride down a long road. When the rains come and the winds blow, let your light shine wherever you go. Light shine, shine, shine.
Thank you. That was great. Let's give them another hand. Okay, I'm going to give the announcements. Today at 4 o'clock is the Abraham Hicks group conducted by Mike Carlin, who's in the back there if you have any questions about it. Next week on August 14th is a healing support group with Suzanne Jensen, and Reverend Jessica and I also help her with that. On August 9th, 6:30, there's the meditation group that meets in the back room. This Wednesday, August 10th, is Tai Chi with Nancy Shriver. And let's see, and then this Thursday, this is going to be special, the Hero's Journey class that I was talking about. Everyone is invited to come to that class so you can see what we've been doing. So everyone's invited at 7 o'clock. And Saturday, August 13th, I have the Animal Kinship Group. And whether you're grieving the loss of an animal, or if you just want to share about your animal and meet other people, I do that at 1 o'clock in the back room. And Friday, August 26th, there is Kirtan with Ken and Friends at 6:30 for fellowship, and then 7 o'clock the service starts. So that's, if you have any more questions about that, any of these activities, you can ask one of us, me, or anybody with one of these shawls on. And also there's information out in Sparks Hall. So with that, let's stand and do the Declaration of Principles. We believe in one universal spirit manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe in the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone that recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
We let
wash us. We let it be.
Retreat, retreat. Run away, run away. Monty Python fans out there. All right, so let's give the band a hand. Yes, thank you. Nicely done. And the powerful Indra, brother Jerry singing. Yes. So before I get started in our message today, I did want to give a shout out to a few guys who've been giving me a hand. So first of all, Marcy Cowan's grandson, Ethan. Some of us remember when he was this big. Well, now he's like this big. And he gave me a hand with the windows in the back, getting the demo done along with Brett Potter, Dan Serino, Richard Quinlan. We're almost done, so we're getting her done one day at a time. And so I appreciate their help with that. And so when you see them, make sure you say thank you, because a few of those folks are volunteers. So this week's offering, the Lodestone of Life, reflects a global vision for August, beauty, nature, art, and aesthetics, and has been prepared by Reverend Jeffrey Anderson, who is a new minister up in Center for Spiritual Living, Oakland, up where they're at. Not quite to where Seahawks territory is, but anyway, that's a division long ago. Never mind. Okay. So, because it's almost football season, so sorry, folks, you're going to start getting it a little bit at a time. So, and you can't think of Oakland without the silver and black. What can I say? All right. So, also, we believe in the eternal loving kindness expressed as the Oakland Raiders. That might be a non sequitur. All right, so anyway, getting back to business here. The global vision for August, beauty, nature, art, and aesthetics. So every month we have a vision that we are knowing for the planet as part of our Center for Spiritual Living commitment to each other and to the world. And so we're honoring that by speaking to these talk titles. And this is what Reverend Jeff has done for us today. And so perhaps as a new person, as a person new to the teaching, it may be odd that a faith system would choose to focus on beauty, nature, art, and aesthetics as a global vision for the world, as a reflection of the divine. So if you think about mainline churches, this may be something you don't often hear, if at all, because we're often focused on what we believe rather than what we do in mainline churches. And so we may appreciate these aspects of life, of beauty, nature, of art, and aesthetics. We may appreciate these things. We may appreciate fine art, painting, sculpture, and otherwise. We may appreciate good design in our homes and public spaces. But with all that is going on in the world today, is it not frivolous to consider such things, particularly connecting them to things spiritual? After all, they use resources, capital, materials, and these things cost money. Besides, everyone knows that in this modern world of technological wonders, what the world needs more of is engineers and doctors and nurses, the hard sciences, and fewer artists and lawyers. So Just seeing if you're paying attention. So because we've all heard of the struggling artist, after all, have we not? Yes. So we need to prepare our students to make money, to be good citizens, to contribute. Now, this is a fairly modern notion, actually, a result of the industrial and now post-industrial age. And because the truth is that humanity has always found ways to express itself artistically and creatively, ways to express a quality of life that transcends the modern experience, the modern condition of life, and evokes a connection, calls to within us, speaks to within us, a connection with something that is not often apparent in the ordinary experience of ordinary living. So whether it's, I have a few images here that speak to this, so whether it's going back thousands of years to the cave paintings in France, or even petroglyphs before that, this from the classical age in Greece, these are the Olympians, right? So images of the gods themselves that, or moving even further along in history, we have this image of Notre Dame, which took like 150, 200 years to complete, right? And we see reflected in this aspects of the classical age of Greece, which is right around Alexander, right? So right around 300 BC. So there's been this unfolding of the idea artistically and creatively that is connected to the soul of humanity in some way, and out picturing this that place, that mystery, right? Those unknown places in the human experience that call us and maybe, hopefully, even inspire us and sometimes guide us into being something bigger, something grander than we are. And of course, in New Thought then, or in the modern era with photography, we can even take something as simple as a rock-strewn beach and take a photograph of it, or even simply take stones, right? And by stacking stones together, even this then becomes an artistic expression of at once the individuality, if you will, of power, of standing straight, and yet the oneness of the whole landscape as and connected to the stones throughout the beach there. So within that, even an artistic expression. And then, of course, moving into New Thought then, with the transcendentalists, that in nature itself, which is not a new idea, they call it New Thought, but the Greeks and the early Christian fathers actually spoke to how God is reflected in nature. So what we see here then is a reflection of the evolution of consciousness around the understanding of our Creator, how our Creator can express itself, and using things that go beyond language, go beyond even basic symbols, right, to call us into a deeper expression and really a deeper experience of life. Now, these are visual images, but it can also be in music. You know, where would the world today be without our poets, right? So whether biblical or secular, you know, where would we be without our poets? So this image of the cathedral then that I put up here, this image of the cathedral representing maybe a modern understanding of traditional church, where God actually lives in a building. God lives in a building in these churches, as compared to the New Thought idea that God is within you and within me and within all things. Not that these weren't discounted, but these growing up, did you not call churches a house of God, right? So God lived there. So it kind of begs the question then, in New Thought, if God is within you, why have a church? Why have a church? I can stay home and have an experience with God if God is within me. And to that I would ask this question. What if you came here, or to any church, what if you came to a Sunday service and no one was there? What if you came to a Sunday service and no one was there? Would God still be there? Would God still be in this place, in this sanctuary, if no one was here? Well, if you believe that God is everywhere present, then the answer would be yes, because you're here. Now, I wasn't always in the habit of going to church on Sunday myself, because Sunday was my sleep-in day or my recovery day from exploring aspects of consciousness the night before. And so I needed Sunday to rest up and get ready. But now, once I got into the habit of coming and connecting with people in spiritual community on Sunday, it's just something that kind of naturally grew into something that I did. Now, I know I'm a minister now, but I always wasn't, I was a carpenter, right? And all of the imagery that may conjure up in your mind, yes, I was that guy. But now, today, I understand that I want to keep holy the Sabbath. In fact, even as that guy, I wanted to keep holy the Sabbath. I just wasn't content with the ways that I was told it had to be so, because they didn't make any sense. So today I keep holy the Sabbath by keeping my commitment to my spiritual community to suit up and show up and be here. Not because I'm paid to do so, because even when I'm not here, I go to other churches on Sunday. Because why? Because I have a habit. This is a habit that I have developed. And I've been visiting churches in a committed fashion in this way since 2000. So I'm kind of new to the religion game in that way. Because I learned early on that sometimes the best practice is to simply show up. Now think about any relationship that you have. Is this not so? Right? Sometimes the best thing you can do is to simply show up and be there. So sometimes that has meant that I've been withdrawn. I come in after the hugs and handshakes because I am in no mood to be social. And I don't want to have all that happy, pink unicorns and orange sunshine stuff. Right? I just want to show up. Well, I make it. I keep the commitment and I show up. Because it's like going to the gym. There are many times I will say most of the time, I don't want to go to the gym. Most of the time I don't. But I'm always glad I did when I leave. And I always get a benefit from it. So, I have come by keeping my commitment to coming to places like this, I have come to see that God is within me and within all of you too. So why do I come to church on Sunday? So I can see God reflected as you. So that I can have a different kind of conversation than the one that's going on out there. And there is some crazy stuff going on out there right now. But here, in this place, whether it's in here or on the other side of the wall, there's an unspoken agreement that we can speak of spiritual matters, that we can soften up, that we can be vulnerable, and it is safe to do so. Right? Because we have not only made a commitment to come here, but we've made a commitment to come here and make it safe for others to do the same. to see the God within each other. And we can't do that. Well, we can do it, but wouldn't it be much better rather than to be all armored up and look at the visor, a little slit in the visor, but rather just to be able to be free and to express the whole thing? Right? To set down the sword and the shield and to have a completely different kind of awareness of spirit. For someone, how about this one? For someone else. So to not have it be about you getting something from here, but to show up and someone else has an experience of the divine by means of your presence here. Yeah, even you. Even when you're feeling crummy. Because that's what it means. If God is within, it's on the good days and the bad days. Yes? Yeah. So that's what as I suppose the spiritual director here, not that I give much spiritual direction really, but in that regard, I'm very clear that I want to have a safe place where we can have a different conversation. We have a safe place where we can soften up, particularly for men, right? That we can be vulnerable and still not feel like girly men while we're doing it, right? And yet be able to go deeper and express the awe and the love and the appreciation that we have for the divine and for each other as expressions of that divine. Now, this is not always an easy thing to do, particularly, as I said, with all the crazy conversations going on out there. But what I do know is that I can choose to see beyond what I think I'm seeing. That I can choose to know that just like in art, that there is something deeper within an art piece that's calling me to see something besides color and imagery, that in the outer world there's something calling me to go deeper, to experience life in a much deeper fashion, to be fully present and vulnerable and open. And one of the tools that we can use to that is to remember what Thomas Troward called the 7 aspects of God. Life, light, love, peace, power, beauty, and joy. And then you can use your own too, right? And in fact, I encourage you to. But Thomas Troward, who was an influence on our teacher, Ernest Holmes, this is what he came up with. And if you think about it, it feels self-evident, right? So I'm pretty sure, not that he ever said so that I know of, but Jesus probably saw God as all of these things. That the Buddha saw nirvana as having all of these things as part of that experience. That all of the saints and sages and prophets of antiquity knew that whatever this thing we call God, by whatever name, has these aspects of it. And if you think about it, so do you and so do I. Now, I may not be juggling all these balls at once in an apparent way. You may show up one day and not really see much, peace, right, in my outer expression. But I'm working on it. Intellectually, I know that it's in there. Sometimes I get stubborn. I'd rather stay angry, just 'cause. But then I come to my senses and realize, hey, you know what? This is not serving my highest good. It's not serving me. It's a selfish thing. It's not serving me. And so then as I shift my consciousness in the way that I show up, then guess what? Everything else changes. The way that I see the whole deal, it's almost like magic. So as Reverend Jeff writes in his notes this week, that where we place our attention expands. Where we place our attention expands. It can be easy in the world today to get caught up in the challenges and to allow those to become our dominant thought pattern. We are at choice always, as to where we focus our thought and where we place the majority of our attention. So our choices then become really, when we, let me back up a little bit and say, when we allow ourselves to surrender to the idea that there is this power and presence of spirit that is within us, that can be used, not just adored, but to be used, this power to be used, then it kind of shifts the whole deal, right? That it can then become like a compass needle that points us in the right direction. And Holmes speaks to this when he says that compass needle then is love. That love is the lodestone. Love is the lodestone of life. And that using this teaching, which oftentimes it is science of mind and it is scientific prayer, and many of us are drawn to science and so forth, but there's nothing cold or unfeeling about the philosophy of religious science and the practice of science of mind. To be effective, it must pulsate with deep feeling. In other words, we want to connect with these aspects of life, the beauty, the power, the nature of life itself. That coldness, criticism, and unkindness have no place in this philosophy or in this science. So what is a lodestone? So someone was asking me, what's a lodestone? Well, I can tell you what it's not. It's the lodestone is not this. This is not the that might be a lodestoner, but it's not a lodestone. A lodestone is a natural occurring mineral, magnetite, that can be magnetized, they think, through lightning. And the ancients discovered this, and in time found that it not only drew iron, but it would align itself. They didn't know what the force was at that time, but they could use it for navigation. So again, one of these ideas that there's a natural law out there, it's always there, but until we know that it's there and we start using it, we don't know. But when we do, it changes the whole thing. So knowing that there is that within us, that is the infinite power and presence of life, that is the lodestone of this experience that we call life, that we can know that there is a much more deeper way, or a much more deeper aspect of life that is calling us to suit up and to show up and to be here for ourselves and for each other. And so, in the words of Ernest Holmes, then, let us therefore light the candle of love, of human kindness, forgiveness, and understanding in our own soul, and let it shine brightly. Let us not peer into the darkness, troubled and concerned because it is so foreboding and unknown, but let us remain steadfast in the radiance of that spiritual light of truth within ourselves. So let us guard. Let us stand guard so that the winds of malice, cross purposes, ignorance, or misunderstanding will not blow out the light. And so we want to be that light. Let's just know, let's practice knowing today that we are that light, right? And that this is our hero's journey, right? To step into that knowing. To step into knowing that we cannot be moved off this course in any way. Because we have connected to and understand and know the indwelling spirit within. And that we have, that we know this with conviction and with strength. So that ultimately then what we're doing then is practicing compassion. And that compassion is the finest weapon and the best defense. That if you would establish harmony, compassion must surround us like a fortress. And so I'll leave you with this lovely image of Ackle. Invite our musicians up. So we're always planning something. Desires, longings, hopes, or fears and worries. So the soil of the garden has no power nor inclination to reject bad seeds while accepting good ones. So let's sow the seeds of love. and recognize and know that we are the point of power in our own life, that we are the point of power to understand and to know and to shift and to lift our own thinking, and in doing so we are shifting and lifting the thinking and the experience of those around us. That our meditation and our prayers count. That when we suit up and show up in our lives, whether it's in spiritual community, on our job sites or offices, within our marriages, within our families, that we are practicing this idea of seeing the divine in all things. Let's practice doing that today, and come on back and report in next week and see how it went.
If your whole life somehow wasn't much until now, and you've almost lost your will to live, well, no matter what you have been through, as long as life and breath come from you, there is always one more time. And if your dreams seem to go bad, everyone you've ever had, that don't mean some dreams can't come true. You know, as funny as dreams, as funny as they may seem, there's always one more time. Turning corners has always been a state of mind. Keeping your eyes closed, well, it's just like being blind. And if there's a heart out there looking for someone to share, I don't care if it's been down, time and time and time again. If we meet one day, please don't walk away, 'cause there's always one more time. One more time. Oh, there's always, yeah, there's always
And then there's the divine expressing as improvisation. Yes. Nice. Nicely done, everyone. Really great. All right, so as we prepare our gifts for the offering, Ken will take us into our offering chant.
I am
So blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So going with you just a moment longer, recognizing and knowing that the gifts presented here this morning are a demonstration of that consciousness that knows and knows that it knows that God is our source, our substance, our supply. And so from the generous heart of the individual from which these gifts have been offered here this morning, we, representing the heart of this community, accept these gifts with deep appreciation, respect, and love. As we know together they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless the life of each one here this morning and anyone connected to this center for spiritual living, that we know this truth for our friends in this community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, those people in Mount Pilot, North Carolina, watching with Reverend Nancy right now online, and for our planet as well, that we know that all of it is a demonstration of the consciousness of the one mind of spirit in expression. And to the extent that we really know this to be so, we see it demonstrate. We look for it and we see it demonstrating in all ways, great and small. This lifts our heart. We are grateful. We feel a sense of grace and power that allows us to live in ways of spiritual living that lift ourselves and others. So in gratitude, we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. So please help me thank our ushers this morning. Lovely Rita, sweet Sue. As our kids come on in. And I do want to extend that invitation to you for the Hero's Journey. Please, if you're new around here, please feel free to join us. There's a special blessing involved in this, and so if you're free, Thursday, 7 p.m., if you're on Constant Contact, you'll get a reminder. Please come and join us so you can participate in that with us. And I'm going to check in with our children and see who our spokesperson is today.
It's a cooperative effort.
A cooperative effort, so y'all want to come up here?
Everybody stand up.
I'll give you some room. Oh, this is very interesting. What have you got there, Isaiah?
Okay. Love is like a
magnet.
and
We get back the love we put out.
Is that true? We get back to the love we put out?
Yeah, it's attractive.
Okay.
it's just like our magnets.
So how does this gizmo work here? What are you doing?
It's when it stays still in the center.
Yes.
You put it around and it will like move it.
It's hard to do it. It's not level on the table.
I see. Oh, there you go. I saw it move. All right. I testify I saw it move. All right. Thank you. All right. Quickly, what did the kids do?
I did a mandala, and it says, God's light shines in everyone.
Very nice.
And I cannot even thank for an amazing band and amazing people here.
All right, thank you. All right, so let's invite our, in fact, let's thank the band one more time, please. Brother Jerry, the Grenadiettes. Get our ministers and practitioners circle the room, and Rev, pray us out.
So join me in consciousness as I speak in the first person for each one here, as I recognize His one presence in life, which is a life of God, which is a life of love, joy, and beauty. And I am one with God, one with its love, joy, and beauty. So I just experience complete joy in my life, and I see the beauty in everything because that beauty is God's beauty. And I know that I embody that beauty of God. So I just emanate beauty and love, and I attract love into my life. And so I just see the beauty in everything that I do, that everything that nature, with animals, with our friends, family, our work, everything, that there is that love and beauty. And I know right now that I'm just feeling that inner joy and inner love right now. And I do give thanks. I give thanks for the beauty of this music and for all who participated in this service. I just release my word with gratitude, knowing it is so. And together we say, and so it is.
Please stand for the peace song.
She's back there hobnobbing.